Hello, my name is Shilpa Hattangi and I'm here for a session on communication. Today we are going to learn about communication as a process. We are going to look at some elements of communication, understand the interaction between the elements to complete the process of communication, identify the barriers of the communication process, explore ways of overcoming these barriers. What purpose does communication serve in our lives? Communication is central to all of us. What does it mean for one person? Does it mean the same to the other person? Communication is exchange of feelings for one another. It is also transmission of thought. A thought gets transmitted from one person to another. A command or an instruction is communication. A subordinate receiving commands, a senior giving commands or instructions to the juniors. Expressing needs is communication. Expressing and then fulfilling of the needs is communication. Conveying a great deal without saying anything, without saying a word. What purpose does communication serve in our lives? Communication is central to all of us. Some of the most emotional scenes one can see at the airport when we are bidding farewells to people, to our loved ones, when we are welcoming our loved ones at the airport. Some of the most emotional scenes happen there. Communication is exchanging of feelings for one another. It can be conveying a great deal of information without even saying a word. Communication is a command or an instruction. One can express one's needs and satisfy one's needs by communicating. Communication is also expression through body language. It is transmission of a thought. One can communicate through different means: visual, olfactory, written, oral, a child making a small card for the mother, or a fragrance of a perfume which suggests something, or which one is reminded of something when you smell a special perfume. Or it could be the smell of a favorite dish that reminds one of something. Eyes are very crucial in the communication process. Eyes can express a lot of things without speaking words. Communication is derived from the Latin word communicare, which means to share or to find something in common. It is to stay in touch with others through different means. It is talking to one another, watching television, reading newspaper, spreading information. It is about how we carry ourselves. It is also literary criticism. We are reading plays, we are reading poetries. The list is endless. Not only humans, but animals, birds, insects, everyone communicate through special ways. They have peculiar dances, peculiar smells, cries, calls, hoots to communicate. If a bird senses a predator approaching the nest to eat up her eggs, the bird is going to screech and call out to the other birds for help. In that call of the bird is going to be very different from the normal chirp of the bird. It is going to be a distress call. That is communication. Let us define communication. It is a process that involves interchange of verbal and non-verbal messages within a continuous and dynamic sequence of events. Another definition of communication is about generating the meaning by sending and receiving verbal messages, symbols, and signs that are influenced in multiple contexts. A communication scholar, Dennis McQuail, he explains human communication in linear terms as sending of meaningful messages from one person to another. The process of communication. The process of communication is extremely interesting to study. The method of transferring information between people or groups for common understanding is communication. Once there is common understanding, the receiver will understand the message that is intended to reach the receiver. Adapting to one's culture, knowing one's culture will definitely improve this process. It involves the flow of information from the sender to the receiver. The receiver must understand the meaning and the message in the correct context. It can also be a process of sharing ideas, sharing opinions, debating, sharing thoughts between two people, from one person to another. Let us now look at some characteristics of communication. Communication is human. Communication is symbolic. Symbols are involved in the use of communication. It is a process and it requires a medium. Communication satisfies needs of people. John Fiske, in his book Introduction to Communication Studies, has classified communication into schools of thought. The first school of thought emphasizes on the transmission of messages, how the senders and the receivers encode and decode, how the transmitters use the channels of media for the communication process. Whereas the second school of thought lays its emphasis on the production and exchange of the meanings, how messages and texts interact with people in order to produce meanings. Role of text in culture. The first school is definitely concerned with the matters of efficiency and accuracy. They see communication as a process in which a person affects the behavior or the state of mind with another. If the effect is smaller or larger than what is intended, this school tends to talk in terms of communication failure. The process of communication has failed if the message has not reached the viewer, the receiver, or the viewer. It analyzes which stage this process of failure has occurred. In the second school of communication, the terms like signification are used, which do not really consider misunderstandings to be evidence that communication has failed. It may result from cultural differences between the sender and the receiver. The study of communication is the study of text and culture. The main method here is the study of semiotics, which is the science of signs and meanings. The elements of communication. Let us look at the elements of communication. Sender, receiver, message, medium, response, and feedback are the crucial elements of communication that aid this whole process of communication. It is a two-way process which involves all these elements. The presence of a common understanding and cooperation is involved between the sender and the receiver. A common frame of reference or context is very useful for deriving successful meaning of communication. If there is a presence of common language, the understanding is better. A person from one state in India travels to another state and is completely faced with a new language or a new script, then the process of communication is hindered. The meaning is lost. The person might struggle to understand the meaning of that new language. Let us look at this example. This is a scene at an international airport where people from different cultures are intermingling. The gentleman, as a gesture of introduction and saying hello, is extending his card, whereas the other gentleman, as a gesture of hello as well, is extending his arm for a shake hand. And there is a disparity between understanding because of cultural differences. The other scenario where we are talking in terms of space and cultural difference. The gentleman feels his space is being invaded, personal space is being invaded by the lady. But the lady feels that this person is a little unfriendly because he's not accepting her friendship. Let us look at this process of communication. It involves the sender or the communicator and the receiver. Both should necessarily share a mutually accepted code, let us say a common language. The context in which this communication is taking place is called as the communication environment. The content of the code is sent within the medium, within a certain medium. The medium can be oral, written, visual, non-verbal, or using channels like air, mic, body, pictures, text, etc., all in form of encoded messages. The code is not restricted only to language. It may also involve use of costumes, gestures, colors, among other things. For example, an Indian bride, the red color is auspicious, or a green or color green is auspicious for an Indian bride, or probably color yellow in some cultures. The process of communication is thus very interesting. It is the sender who starts this process, and he makes up a message, a thought, or a symbol, or through words, which has to be conveyed to the receiver through a channel. The channel is the vehicle to carry the message, and it is the receiver who is going to receive this message. The feedback is the response which is sent by the receiver. Through this communication process, we see that sometimes there can be a barrier or a breakdown in the communication process. So, what are barriers and why do they occur? Barriers are obstacles or hindrance, or simply a small problem that comes in the way of this communication process and in the transmission of this message from the sender to the receiver. It could block the process either completely or partially. The barrier can pose a difficulty in the process of communication. It could exist at the stage of the sender or the receiver of the message. Let us look at some types of barriers. Physical or environmental barrier, language barrier, cultural barrier, interpersonal barrier, emotional barrier, and perceptual barrier. Physical or environmental. You must have definitely undergone situations where there is a lot of noise and you are unable to hear what the other person is saying. So, noise can be a distraction and it can be a barrier in the process of communication. Distractions in the room, attractive posters being put up where one is distracted from the true message. Adverse weather conditions or even distance between two people can create a barrier in the completion of the communication process. Language. Examples of language would be lack of knowledge of a particular language. The language is totally new to the person and the person does not comprehend that language. There could be dialectical variations. Knowing the diversity of our country, sometimes there could be dialectical variations where one is unable to understand certain pronunciations, certain variations in the way the language is being spoken. Sometimes there could be disabilities, language disabilities, like stuttering, stammering, articulation disorders, which definitely create a little bit of a barrier in understanding of the message. Sometimes new terms could be used that the receiver does not understand. So, use of unfamiliar terms or jargons which the sender is using and the receiver is unable to comprehend. Then there could be cultural barriers. For example, differences in interests, in the knowledge, in values, traditions, and generation gap. Then let us look at the next type of barrier, which is interpersonal barrier. Examples of this interpersonal barrier would be where a person wants to communicate something, but the receiver or the, let us say mother and daughter, or let us say parent and child, or let us say teacher and student, between these two individuals when a communication is taking place, there is some kind of lack of desire to participate, or there is some unwillingness to explore ideas or opinions, or priorities are different of the different individuals. There could be constant fault finding in the others, which are blocking the understanding process of the receiver himself or herself. There could be prejudices against certain ideas, which is again blocking the communication process. Emotional barriers. When one is emotionally charged or there is some kind of imbalance in emotions, the communication process can be hindered. For example, one is very angry, that person is not able to think logically. Anxiety, fear, these can impact creativity and communication skills. Inferiority complex in certain people can block thought process, and it can hinder communication process. If one is self-centric, then one person will not recognize or appreciate the other person's thought. So the communication process is hindered here. In sometimes when one has a poor self-image, the communication process could be hindered, or there could be a barrier in the communication process. Perceptual, which is the final barrier that we are studying here, which is filters on our own experience of people, our own perceptions or events, certain stereotypings that we have, certain stereotyping that we have. Non-verbal cues, body language, facial gestures are a part of perceptual barriers. There are definitely ways of overcoming these barriers. Barriers disrupt the communication and interfere with the understanding of certain messages, but these barriers can be overcome. With some ease, with some bit of training, with some bit of technology changes, these barriers, we should try to overcome these barriers. Certain measures are suggested here, adopting flexible and open-minded attitudes. One could develop listening skills and an empathetic view towards others. Exposure and interaction in diverse environments will help one to broaden one's perspectives. Hence, one is able to appreciate, empathize with the receiver or with the sender of the message. Overcoming barriers. Advancement in technology has helped tremendously to reduce the communication gap, which can arise through time and distance. Any backup plan which one has helps in overcoming snags if there are any. Language barriers can be avoided by careful study or accurate use of language. Sometimes a translator could help in translating languages, and thus language barriers can be overcome. To summarize this session, we looked at the process of communication. We looked at some elements that are involved in this process. We studied some barriers that hinder the process of communication. And we also studied some measures that were suggested to overcome these barriers. That's all for now. Thank you.